Hi, everybody. My name is Phil Diorsi, and I'm going to be your instructor for the Summer 1 session of Precalculus at Westwood State University. So this is the introduction video where I'm going to go through our course, let you know how everything works. And so what you should be seeing here is me, and what I've done is I've shared my screen through Play-Doh. So if you're finding this video, you have successfully logged into Play-Doh, and you've navigated over here to week 1 and clicked on the introduction video. But you may have seen that there's a lot of other stuff here on our Play-Doh page that I want to go through briefly here for us. So where I want you to start is if you click over here with me on syllabus, you'll notice that our syllabus is posted here. And so when you click into this, this gives you all of the information for our course, so descriptions and lots of formal things. Couple important pieces. My email address is right here, pdiorsi@westfield.ma.edu. So this is the best way to contact me. So I'm usually pretty good about responding to email quickly. So a lot of the requirements, so I'm going to go through these on Play-Doh, so I won't go through them here. But one other important thing is our grading scale. So the way that you're going to be assessed as part of this course, there are 5 different areas. So one of them is web work homework. So we'll talk about that. We're going to have an online homework system that you can log into for free. And so that our homework will be 20% of your grade. We'll have 2 exams throughout the course, 2 midterm exams. Those will be 20% of your grade, and the final exam will be 25% of the grade. So we have a course that extends over 6 weeks, and every 2 weeks we will open up an exam for you to take. So that's the way the course will progress. We'll do some homework for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, we'll have an exam over that material. And throughout this, every 2 weeks, we're going to have what I have dubbed a Desmos project. And so we'll see how we can use mathematics to create art. Specifically, all of the topics that we're seeing in pre-calculus lend themselves well to creating art. And so we'll do some mathematical art projects. All right, so if we go back to our Play-Doh page, the next thing that you'll see here is books. Okay, so you may have noticed that I didn't put any books at the bookstore for you to get. So the reason for that is they are all freely available to you. And so I have 2 materials here. One of them I wrote myself, and the other is a free resource online. So the first one that I've just clicked into here is my notes. And so let me scroll up to the table of contents. So this is the way our course is going to be organized. So pre-calculus is all about things that are called functions. And so different types of functions let us model different behaviors. And that's the way our entire course is going to be designed. So we're going to learn about functions, and we'll go through linear, quadratic, trigonometric functions, exponential functions and logarithms, more trigonometry, and then we'll end the semester with polynomial functions and rational functions. And so every week we'll do about 2 of these chapters, and so that will lead us into the end of the 6-week time period. Okay, so the notes that I've created here are ones that I typically use in class. So as you're going through and reading them and working through them, what you're going to find is that it doesn't read like a typical textbook. So it's not going to be something like here's like 7 of the same type of problem, go ahead and do those, but more sort of big picture questions. Can you come up with different relationships or things? So like this one question right here, can you come up with a test to check if something is a function, right? So we'll look at those relationships. And now, while these aren't going to have answers posted for you, they are open for discussion, right? So if you think about them and you want to interact with me either through email or through Zoom, we can do something like that. Okay, so this type of learning is called active learning, right? So you'll be actively participating. And to go along with this, we have video. So for each one of these sections, I've recorded a video that's all about that section in the book. So you'll be able to go and link right from these materials. If you click on this link right here, it'll bring you to YouTube, where I've recorded a video talking about this material. Okay. So the other book is by Stitz and Ziegler. It's a free and open source. It is a Precalculus textbook. And so this is much more of a traditional textbook. So if you, if we go to some of the sections, what you'll see is they have, so they also have a treatment on functions. And so this will read as, sort of definition, example, solution, and then I think the most valuable part of their book is the exercises. So if you wanted, the type of material that has hundreds of exercises for you to do with solutions worked out, this is a great resource for that. Okay, so the book is very, very long. So if we scroll up here, the nice thing to use these hyperlinks is you have exercises and you have answers. So for what we were just looking at, if you want to find the answers to the exercises, you can click on answers, and all of the answers will be here in this textbook. All right, so 2 resources for us. One is sort of active learning materials, and one is a more traditional textbook, depending on how you want to explore here. But the videos are aligned with the notes that I wrote. Okay, so those are the 2 books that we're going to use. So we mentioned WebWork. So if you click on this WebWork link, what's going to happen is you're going to be brought to a web page. Okay, so so let me log out here. So when you log in, the site that you're going to see is going to look something like this. And what you want to do is, in this box right here, in your username, you're going to put your Westfield username. So typically that is your first initial, your last name, and then typically 4 numbers. So that's not true for everybody, but most of them look like that. So since I'm a faculty member, it's just my first initial and last name. And the students will have 4 digits here. So you put that in, and then the password that you're going to use is the same one that you use to log into My Westfield. Okay, so if you can log into My Westfield, use that same password to log in to WebWork, and when you click continue, it'll bring you into our class. So WebWork is a system that we're going to use to take all of our exams and do all of our homework. Okay, and so what you should see is a schedule of all of the work that is set up for the first 6 weeks, right? So, or the next 6 weeks, I should say. That will be our course. And so every week, you can see on May 18th, so that's the start of our class, I'll have 2 sections will open up, and that's true pretty much every week. So we'll have 2 sections, and then every other week we will have an exam, and our final exam will be the last week of class. So all of our assessments outside of the Desmos projects will be done through the WebWork homework system. Okay. So I've talked about Desmos a little bit, and if you click on this link right here, Desmos, what you'll find is it brings us to a graphing calculator. Okay, so some of you may be familiar with a TI-89 or 83 graphing calculator. And so Desmos is a newer version of that, but it's free and it's available online. So we'll have access to this. And so if you type in equations, say in your sidebar, what we'll see is that the graph appears and it highlights some nice points for you that we can use to solve equations. And so we'll get a lot of practice using Desmos throughout the course. Okay? And so one of those things that we're going to do is what I dub a Desmos project. Okay, so we're going to have 3 projects throughout the course of the semester. The first one of which is going to be in the first 2 weeks, and you are going to be assigned to create a line art picture in Desmos. So this is a student example that a student has created in the past. And all the details are online, but you're going to be creating some sort of artwork like this that just has linear functions, right? So this is the way we're going to start. And then following that, once we learn a little bit more about functions for the weeks 3 and 4, you're going to create a self-portrait. So you're going to upload a picture of yourself and you're going to trace it. And so this will be our second project. You'll have a picture of yourself. Then finally, our last project is going to be one that involves motion. Okay, so this is a student example. So we're going to have some sort of moving pieces. And so you can think about you're going to create a GIF, or you're going to create a little movie or something like that. But the great thing about the graphing calculator is over here, you're able to see the picture, right, that you're creating with these functions. And over here on the left sidebar, you actually get to see the mathematics that's behind all of this animation and all of these graphics. So this should be I like this as 3 different projects, and students have had a lot of fun with it in the past. So I hope you do too. All right, so each week, at the beginning of the week, we're going to open up our week. So what you'll find when you click into week 1 is there are some tasks for you to do, and they'll generally be something like work through the activities, do the homework, watch the videos, and then work on your project. Right? So that'll be the general outline. The one exception to that is occasionally for each section, I will post other resources here for you to use. So generally they're Desmos graphs. But one other thing is there's an external website called student.desmos.com. And so if we go to student.desmos.com, what's going to happen is you're going to see a website that looks something like this. And I'm going to give you a course code. Okay, so the course code for this one in particular is HV7FUY. And so if you were to put that code in there and join, it will bring you into an interactive environment where you get to sort of play around with things. Sometimes the activities are card sorts, and sometimes they are other things. But you can follow along with the prompts and work on some of these. So that's basically how our class is going to work. So some of you have asked questions about, is there a meeting time? And so the answer is no. We don't have a common meeting time. So the reason for that is this class is run through our graduate college, and when everybody signs up, they don't agree to meet at a certain time. And so students that are taking the class along with you may be in the same state as you, but they might not be, right? So they could be in different time zones. They could be in different parts of the world. And so due to that, I'm not having a synchronous meeting time. But with that said, if you do want to meet with me, I still am here. I'm available. A lot of students just like to email me their questions. But if you or a few students wanted to meet over Zoom, I'm also available to do that. And I'm here to support you, the student, through the next 6 weeks. So if you have questions, again, contact me, pdiorsi@westfield.ma.edu is the easiest way. And I hope you have fun.